Commander Vex-Nine's 4 eyes blinked in rapid succession as he watched the security feeds from Training Facility 7. The human cadet, designated as Maya Knox, lay motionless on the sterile floor, 3 plasma burns decorating her torso like some twisted constellation. Blood, that crimson fluid these Deathworlders insisted on using instead of proper hemolymph, pooled beneath her still form. Well, Vex-Nine clicked his mandibles together in what passed for amusement among his species. That was disappointingly easy. I almost expected more from a creature that supposedly wrestled apex predators for entertainment. His aide, a nervous Zephyrian named Click-12, shifted his tentacles anxiously. "Sir, the human appears to be deceased. Should we contact the medical bay?" "Deceased?" Vex-Nine's laugh sounded like grinding metal. "After 3 standard plasma bursts? These humans are even more fragile than our intelligence suggested. Cancel the remaining trials, Click-12. We've learned everything we need to know about Earth's so-called warrior species." The Galactic Defense Initiative had been preparing for humanity's integration into their ranks for months. Tales of human tenacity had spread through the outer colonies like wildfire. Stories of soldiers continuing to fight with severed limbs, of civilians surviving in conditions that would liquefy most civilized species, of their bizarre ability to heal from injuries that should have been fatal. Propaganda, Vex-Nine had declared when the reports first crossed his desk. No species could possibly be that resilient. Not without proper exoskeleton plating or regenerative cellular matrices. And now, staring at the motionless human on his monitors, he felt vindicated. 3 precise shots from a standard-issue plasma rifle, and the legendary Deathworlder was down for the count. Perhaps the Galactic Council had been too hasty in approving humanity's military application. "Sir," Click-12's voice carried a note of uncertainty, "the human's vital signs are peculiar." "Peculiar how?" Vex-Nine didn't bother looking up from his report pad, already composing his dismissive evaluation of human combat effectiveness. "Her heart rate hasn't stopped, sir. In fact, it's accelerating." This gave Vex-Nine pause. He looked up at the main display, where Maya Knox remained sprawled across the training room floor. Her chest rose and fell with mechanical precision, each breath deeper than the last. The blood pooling around her wounds had begun to coagulate at an alarming rate. "Run a medical scan," Vex-Nine ordered, his earlier confidence wavering slightly. The facility's sensors hummed to life, bathing the training room in diagnostic light. The results appeared on screen moments later, and Click-12 made a sound that could only be described as a mechanical gulp. "Sir, her cellular activity is unprecedented. The damaged tissue is rebuilding itself at 17 times the normal rate for mammalian species. Her adrenal glands are producing combat stimulants at levels that should have caused cardiac failure. And her neural activity." Click-12's tentacles trembled. "It's off the charts." Maya Knox's eyes snapped open, not the slow, groggy awakening of someone recovering from trauma. No, her eyes opened like blast doors slamming wide, pupils dilated to pinpricks, irises blazing with an intensity that made the monitoring equipment flicker. She didn't sit up gradually or check her wounds like any rational being would. She stood up. In one fluid motion, Maya Knox went from horizontal to vertical, rising like some ancient predator scenting prey. The plasma burns on her torso had already begun to seal themselves, angry red welts marking where lethal energy beams had tried and failed to end her. "By the void," Vex-Nine whispered. "What manner of creature?" Maya turned toward the observation deck, and for one terrifying moment, it seemed like she was staring directly through the reinforced transparent aluminum at him. Her smile was not reassuring. It was the sort of expression a shark might wear if it suddenly developed a sense of humor and questionable impulse control. Click-12, Vex-Nine's voice had climbed several octaves. "Seal the training facility. Full lockdown protocol." "Sir, she's just one human. Surely our security measures." The sound that interrupted Click-12's protest was unlike anything in the facility's acoustic database. It started as a low growl, the kind of noise that suggested something large and carnivorous was having deeply unpleasant thoughts about your continued existence. Then it escalated into what could generously be called laughter. If laughter could somehow be weaponized and used to intimidate entire star systems, Maya Knox cracked her knuckles. The sound echoed through the chamber like gunshots. "She's looking at the door," Click-12 observed with the sort of detached fascination scientists reserve for watching catastrophes unfold in real time. The training facility's exit was a masterpiece of galactic engineering. Reinforced durasteel 3 inches thick, magnetic locks rated to withstand the explosive decompression of deep space, electronic systems hardened against everything from electromagnetic pulses to psychic interference. It had taken a full construction crew 6 days to install. Maya Knox walked up to it and placed her palm against the metal surface. "The locks are holding," Click-12 reported. "There's no way she can," the door screamed, not metaphorically. The metal itself seemed to cry out as Maya's fingers found purchase at the edges of the frame. Her muscles bunched beneath skin that was still healing from plasma burns, and the impossible happened, the door moved. "That's not possible," Vex-9 stated with the firm conviction of someone whose entire worldview was currently being fed through an industrial shredder. The structural integrity ratings alone, Maya Knox was no longer trying to open the door. She was peeling it away from the wall like the lid of a ration container, except this particular container weighed approximately 2 tons and was supposed to be permanently attached to the facility's superstructure. Sparks showered from severed power conduits as she worked. Warning klaxons began blaring throughout the complex, their mechanical wails mixing with the ongoing symphony of tortured metal. Maya's expression remained fixed in that unsettling smile, as if she were engaged in nothing more strenuous than opening a particularly stubborn jar. "Sir," Click-12's voice had taken on the hollow quality of someone watching their fundamental understanding of physics being violated in real time, "should we alert the security forces?" Vex-9 was too busy watching Maya Knox tear a reinforced blast door off its moorings to respond immediately. The human had managed to create a gap large enough to squeeze through, but apparently, that wasn't sufficient for her purposes. She continued working, widening the opening with methodical precision. "Sir?" Click-12 tried again. "Security forces?" Vex-9 finally managed to tear his gaze away from the impossible scene playing out below. "What exactly do you expect them to do? Ask her politely to stop dismantling our facility?" As if summoned by his words, the facility's automated defense systems finally engaged. Stun bolts lanced through the air, each one carrying enough electrical charge to drop a full-grown Thurian battle beast. They struck Maya Knox center mass, wreathing her in crackling energy. She paused in her door removal activities and looked up at the ceiling-mounted weapons with an expression of mild annoyance, like someone who had just been interrupted while reading. Then she went back to work. The stun bolts continued firing, creating a light show that would have been spectacular under different circumstances. Maya Knox ignored them completely, her movements never slowing as she peeled away another section of reinforced metal. The electrical discharge should have rendered her unconscious instantly, Click-12 observed with academic detachment. Her nervous system should be completely overloaded. "Yes," Vex-9 agreed faintly. "It should be." Maya Knox stepped through the opening she had created, leaving behind a doorway that looked like it had been mauled by something with very large teeth and an attitude problem. She paused to examine her handiwork, nodding with apparent satisfaction. Then she looked directly up at the observation deck, smiled that terrible smile, and waved. "She's coming this way," Click-12 announced unnecessarily. Vex-9 was already reaching for the emergency communication panel. "This is Commander Vex-9 to Galactic Command. We have a situation." The elevator shaft that connected the observation deck to the main facility had been designed with security in mind. 17 levels of reinforced barriers, each one requiring biometric clearance and encrypted authorization codes. The engineering team had proudly declared it absolutely impregnable. During the facility's dedication ceremony, Maya Knox punched through the floor of the shaft and began climbing up the support cables like they were jungle vines. "She's not using the elevator," Click-12 reported with the sort of bewildered calm that comes from watching too many impossible things in rapid succession. Of course she's not using the elevator, Vex-Nine snapped, his 4 eyes tracking Maya's ascent on the security monitors. Why would she bother with conventional transportation when she can apparently violate the laws of structural engineering with her bare hands? The human's progress was disturbingly efficient. She moved with the fluid grace of something that had spent its entire evolutionary history climbing vertical surfaces to escape larger predators. Each handhold was precise, each movement calculated to maximize speed while minimizing effort. "Sir, Galactic Command is requesting additional details about our situation," Click-12 informed him, tentacles dancing over the communication console. "Additional details?" Vex-Nine's laugh had taken on a slightly hysterical edge. "Tell them we've encountered a human who treats plasma fire like a mild sunburn and reinforced barriers like gift wrapping. I'm sure they'll find that perfectly reasonable." Maya Knox paused in her climb, tilting her head as if listening to something only she could hear. Then, with casual indifference to several fundamental principles of physics, she began punching handholds directly into the shaft's wall. Each impact sent vibrations through the entire structure, accompanied by the distinctive sound of expensive construction material surrendering unconditionally. "The structural integrity sensors are registering critical failures throughout levels 7 through 12, Click-12 announced. "She's literally reshaping the building's internal architecture." "Wonderful," Vex-Nine muttered. "Perhaps we should send her an invoice for the renovation costs." The facility's backup security protocols had finally recognized that standard countermeasures were proving inadequate. Blast shields began sliding into place throughout the complex, sealing off corridors and creating multiple defensive perimeters. Emergency lighting bathed everything in an ominous red glow that would have been atmospheric under different circumstances. Maya Knox reached level 15 and decided the remaining climb was taking too long. She braced herself against opposite walls of the shaft and began pushing. Not climbing, not leveraging herself upward through conventional means. Simply applying force until something gave way. The something in question turned out to be 2 more levels of reinforced flooring. "She's coming through the floor," Click-12 observed as hairline cracks appeared in the observation deck surface. "Should we evacuate?" "Evacuate where?" Vex-Nine demanded. "She's already demonstrated that our security systems are decorative at best. The entire facility might as well be constructed from paper and wishful thinking." The cracks widened, spreading outward in a spiderweb pattern that made expensive diagnostic equipment rattle ominously. Dust began filtering down from the ceiling as the building's support structure protested this unauthorized modification of its load-bearing components. Maya Knox's hand emerged through the floor first, fingers splayed as she sought purchase. Then her arm, followed by her shoulder. She hauled herself up through the improvised entrance with the sort of casual strength that suggested this was merely Tuesday afternoon for her. Standing in the middle of their sophisticated command center, surrounded by blinking lights and expensive monitoring equipment, Maya Knox looked remarkably ordinary. Medium height, brown hair tied back in a practical ponytail, wearing the standard-issue training uniform that was now decorated with plasma burns and construction debris. If you ignored the fact that she had just climbed 17 levels through solid matter and was currently dusting fragments of reinforced flooring off her shoulders like lint. "Gentlemen," Maya said, and her voice carried the sort of cheerful politeness that somehow made everything worse. "I believe there's been a misunderstanding." Vex-Nine's mandibles clicked together nervously. "Misunderstanding?" "Well, yes." Maya's smile was the kind that suggested she was genuinely trying to be helpful, which was deeply concerning given her recent renovation activities. "You see, I was under the impression this was a combat readiness evaluation. Standard procedure for new recruits, testing our ability to handle unexpected situations, overcome obstacles, that sort of thing." "It was," Click-12 managed to whisper. "Right. So when your automated systems shot me 3 times, I assumed that was part of the test. Simulated enemy fire, designed to see how quickly I could recover and continue the mission." Maya gestured toward the gaping hole in the floor with casual pride. "I have to say, your training scenarios are remarkably realistic. The plasma burns actually hurt." Vex-Nine felt his understanding of reality shift several degrees off its axis. You thought being shot was part of the evaluation? Of course. Earth's military training involves live ammunition, simulated torture, survival exercises in hostile environments, and psychological warfare techniques designed to break down cognitive function. This seemed relatively mild by comparison. Maya paused thoughtfully. Though I'll admit, the door was unnecessarily sturdy. Most human barriers are designed to keep things out, not in. Most human barriers, Click-12 repeated faintly. Right. Prison doors, bunker entrances, submarine hatches, that sort of thing. They're built to withstand tremendous pressure and deliberate attempts at forced entry. Your door was impressive, but it wasn't designed by people who assume someone will eventually try to break through it with nothing but determination and poor impulse control. The communication console chose that moment to crackle to life. Commander Vex-Nine, this is Admiral Thex-Prime of Galactic Command. What is your status? Vex-Nine stared at Maya Knox, who was now examining their monitoring equipment with obvious curiosity. Admiral, the human has completed her evaluation. Excellent. And your assessment of their combat capabilities? Maya had found the display showing her own vital signs and was studying the readouts with professional interest. Fascinating, she murmured. My heart rate is still elevated, but that's normal after moderate physical exertion. The cellular regeneration data is particularly interesting, though I think your sensors might need recalibration. Our sensors, Vex-Nine said slowly, are reading cellular activity at levels that should be biologically impossible. Oh, that. Maya waved dismissively. Human healing rates increase significantly under stress. It's an evolutionary adaptation from when our ancestors had to survive injuries that would kill most species. Something about redundant organ systems, enhanced immune response, and what our scientists call spite-based molecular reconstruction. Spite-based what now? The ability to remain functional through sheer bloody-mindedness. It's not technically scientific, but it works surprisingly often. Admiral Thex-Prime's voice cut through their conversation. Commander, I'm still waiting for your assessment. Vex-Nine looked at Maya Knox, who had somehow climbed through 17 levels of reinforced construction after being shot 3 times and was now casually discussing human biology while standing in a pile of debris that used to be his floor. Admiral, he said carefully, I recommend immediate approval of humanity's military application. Full integration, officer track, whatever they want. Excellent news. The humans have been most patient during this evaluation period. Patient? Vex-Nine's voice climbed toward the upper registers of his vocal range. This was their idea of patience? Maya Knox looked genuinely surprised. Did you expect us to complain? The Galactic Defense Initiative is offering us full membership in an interstellar military alliance. A few training exercises seem like a reasonable prerequisite. Training exercises, Click-12 whispered, staring at the structural damage surrounding them. Well, yes. Though I do have some suggestions for improving your facility design. The elevator system is terribly inefficient, and your blast doors could use better anchoring systems. Also, the automated weapons should probably have adjustable power settings. 3 plasma bolts set to lethal would have been problematic for most species. Most species would be dead, Vex-Nine pointed out. Exactly. That's why adjustable settings would be useful. You want to test resilience, not commit accidental genocide. Maya paused thoughtfully. Though I suppose that depends on your training objectives. Admiral Thex-Prime's voice carried a note of curiosity. Commander, what was the nature of the human's evaluation? Vex-Nine looked around at his demolished command center, then at Maya Knox, who was now helpfully attempting to push some of the larger debris back through the hole in the floor. Standard combat readiness assessment, Admiral. The human demonstrated exceptional problem-solving skills, remarkable physical resilience, and creative approaches to obstacle navigation. Obstacle navigation. She modified our facility's internal structure to optimize her movement patterns. Maya looked up from her cleaning efforts. I can repair most of this, if you'd like. Human engineers are quite good at fixing things we've broken. It's another evolutionary adaptation. That won't be necessary, Vex-Nine said quickly. I believe we've learned everything we need to know about human capabilities. Wonderful, Admiral Thex Prime announced. Humanity is hereby approved for full integration into Galactic Defense Initiative forces. Welcome to the Alliance, Cadet Knox. Maya Knox smiled that terrible, wonderful smile and saluted with perfect military precision. Thank you, sir. I look forward to serving alongside our galactic allies. After the communication ended, Vex-Nine sat in stunned silence among the wreckage of his monitoring station. Maya Knox was carefully stacking pieces of broken flooring into neat piles, humming something that sounded like a human war song. Click 12, Vex-Nine said finally. Yes, sir. Make a note in the official record. Humans are not to be considered for defensive positions. Sir. They're clearly meant for offense.